Throughout history, millions of soldiers have gone to war. Some became legends, others were forgotten. But among them were heroes who never carried rank, never carried a weapon, never spoke a single word, and never truly understood why they were there. Yet they charged machine guns, rescued wounded soldiers, detected hidden bombs, hunted terrorists, and gave their lives protecting people they loved. Dogs have fought beside humans for thousands of years. Ancient Romans marched with them, medieval armies utilized them, explorers depended upon them. But nowhere has the bond between soldier and dog been stronger than in the American military. They don't fight for medals, understand politics, or know why bullets fly. They simply know that their human needs them. Today, we are telling the story of three of these extraordinary dogs. He was just a stray dog wandering the grounds of Yale University in 1917 when he befriended soldiers of the 102nd Infantry Regiment. One young soldier secretly smuggled the little brindle dog aboard a troop ship bound for France. By the time the officers discovered him, Stubby had already won them over, reportedly even learning to salute, so they let him stay. It was a decision that would make military history. For the next 18 months, Stubby served alongside American troops on the Western Front, participating in 17 battles and 4 major offensives. He endured the same mud-filled trenches, freezing nights, artillery barrages, and poison gas attacks as the men around him. After surviving his first mustard gas attack, he learned to recognize the faint scent of poison before the soldiers could. Whenever he detected gas drifting toward the trenches, Stubby would bark, run through the camp, and wake sleeping troops, giving them precious seconds to put their masks on. His warnings saved countless lives. His keen nose was valuable in other ways as well. When battles ended, Stubby searched shell-torn fields for wounded Americans. When he found a living soldier unable to move, he stayed beside him, barking until stretcher bearers arrived. Then came the incident that made him a legend. During one patrol, Stubby encountered a German soldier attempting to hide. Rather than retreat, the small dog charged. He bit the enemy soldier by the seat of his trousers and held on, barking furiously until American troops rushed over and captured the prisoner. It was an extraordinary feat for a dog that had entered the war as an untrained stray. Stubby's exploits were widely reported in American newspapers, making him one of the most famous dogs in the United States while the war was being fought. He was wounded twice during his service and received a wound stripe along with numerous other honors, including 2 Purple Hearts and a gold medal recognizing his courage. When the war ended, Stubby returned home as a national celebrity. He met 3 American presidents, Woodrow Wilson, Warren G. Harding, and Calvin Coolidge, appeared in parades across the country, and performed on vaudeville stages before cheering crowds. After a life that inspired an entire nation, Sergeant Stubby died peacefully in his sleep in March of 1926. Born in 1940, Chips was a German Shepherd, Collie, and Malamute mix owned by the Wren family of Pleasantville, New York. When America entered World War II, families across the country answered an unusual call to serve. The military needed dogs, and like thousands of other Americans, the Wren family made a painful sacrifice and donated Chips to the U.S. Army's Dogs for Defense program. In 1942, he reported to the War Dog Training Center at Front Royal, Virginia, where he trained as a sentry dog before being assigned to the 3rd Infantry Division. His combat handler was Private John P. Rowell, and together they served across North Africa, Sicily, Italy, France, and Germany. Before seeing combat, Chips even stood guard during the historic Roosevelt-Churchill Conference in 1943, protecting two of the Allied leaders who were planning the next phase of the war. Then came July 10, 1943, the Allied invasion of Sicily. As American troops pushed inland from beaches, Chips and Private Rao suddenly found themselves pinned down by intense fire from an Italian machine gun pillbox. Every attempt to advance was stopped by a hail of bullets. Then, without being ordered, Chips broke free. He sprinted straight towards the bunker through enemy fire and disappeared inside. For a few tense moments, all anyone could hear was shouting, barking, and gunfire. Then the firing stopped. Moments later, four stunned Italian soldiers emerged from the pillbox with their hands raised. In a matter of seconds, Chips had accomplished what an entire infantry squad had been unable to do. He silenced the machine gun and forced its crew to surrender. Despite suffering a scalp wound and powder burns during the attack, Chips wasn't finished. Later that same day, he helped American forces capture 10 more Italian soldiers, continuing to protect the men he served beside. For his extraordinary courage, Chips was initially awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, and the Purple Heart. But there was a problem. Army regulations didn't allow animals to receive official military decorations, so the medals were revoked. But after public protests, the Army allowed Chips to keep the medals he had already received, although no additional military dogs would officially receive such honors. His unit also presented him with an unofficial campaign ribbon recognizing his participation in 8 combat campaigns. Decades after the war, history finally caught up with his heroism. In 2018, Chips was posthumously awarded the PDSA Dickin Medal, the world's highest honor for animal gallantry. The following year, he received the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery, ensuring that the courage shown on a Sicilian beach in 1943 would never be forgotten. Chips began the war as a beloved family pet. He returned home as one of the most celebrated military working dogs of World War II. By late 1966, the Vietnam War was escalating rapidly. One of America's most important installations in South Vietnam was Tan Son Nhut Air Base, just outside Saigon. The sprawling base served as a vital transportation hub, moving thousands of troops, aircraft, and supplies across the country. In preparation for the massive Operation Cedar Falls, American forces were building up men and equipment, making the air base an obvious target, and the Viet Cong knew it. After gathering intelligence on American movements, they planned a nighttime assault designed to penetrate the perimeter and disrupt the operation before it could begin. On the night of December 4, 1966, Airman Second Class Robert Bob Thronberg, a 22-year-old from North Carolina, was walking his assigned patrol with his military working dog Nemo. Thronberg had been in Vietnam for about 5 months. Like every sentry dog handler, he trusted his partner's nose more than his own eyes. As they searched for enemy infiltrators who had slipped through the perimeter, Nemo suddenly became alert. Moments later, the jungle erupted with automatic gunfire. Without hesitation, Thronberg released Nemo. The German Shepherd charged directly toward the enemy while Thronberg returned fire, killing 2 Viet Cong soldiers despite the chaos surrounding him. Then both dog and handler were hit. A bullet slammed into Thronberg's shoulder, seriously wounding him. Another struck Nemo beneath his right eye, tearing through his mouth before exiting. For most animals, such a wound would have been instantly disabling. For Nemo, it wasn't. Bleeding heavily and nearly blinded, he refused to abandon his handler. As Thronberg collapsed to the ground, Nemo crawled across his body and positioned himself between the wounded airman and the enemy. Anyone attempting to approach was met with growls and bared teeth. He stood guard over his partner, refusing to let anyone near until American security forces fought their way to their position and eliminated remaining attackers. Medical teams finally reached the pair, and both survived. Nemo's injuries were devastating. Although veterinarians saved his life, they could not save his right eye. Even so, his fighting spirit never faded. After recovering, Nemo became one of the first American military working dogs officially retired from combat service. He returned home to Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, where he served as a recruiting and demonstration dog, introducing thousands of visitors to the military working dog program. His former kennel was preserved as a memorial to honor his extraordinary service. Nemo lived the rest of his life surrounded by the people who understood what he had sacrificed. He died at Lackland in December of 1972.